And welcome everyone to the Fantasy Football Mafia.
What it do?
Welcome.
Yeah, we started a little bit late today because Yosef wanted to be a little bit girl and complain about his headache.
I have a migraine right now.
And then Joey decided not to even show up yesterday. So it seems like I'm the responsible one here out of all three of us. So
Sure.
Oh, they're just showing it just right now, guys. The replay of the Dobbins injury. I literally just looked up.
How bad does it look?
It does not look good. As segue into our news and notes, J.K. Dobbins was injured in week 3 of the preseason against the Washington football team. He was carted off the field. Doesn't look good. They're getting testing done, so we don't know exactly the true severity. But just off the replay and me seeing it, I don't expect him back, but we'll see how this test go. So upgrade Gus Edwards into that top 20-ish, the end of the top 20 for me. And then keep Justice Hill as kind of like that handcuff now as in that Ravens backfield.
Yeah, I feel like he's gonna miss the start of the season for sure, and then maybe a couple
probably
weeks.
after the season.
I think so.
Well, who knows?
Bad.
Gus Edwards, I agree, top 20 or at the 20th spot, and he's not as high as Dobbins would have been, but he's still valuable.
Justice Hill will have a role because he is more the pass catcher. So that's something you can get down the line. But Gus Edwards did play really well last year in a split backfield. And that's why they re-signed him. So I like Gus Edwards.
So based on your guys' projections, you think Gus Edwards like a 3rd or 4th round pick?
I think so.
Like 5-6.
I mean, no, I would take him like as high as 4, depending obviously how the board shakes out, right? If you're in need of a running back in that slot, if you're going with Brian's 0 running back strategy, you want to take 3 straight receivers or maybe a tight end 2 receiver type approach. Gus Edwards sitting there, he is the clear lead back. I wouldn't be shocked to go with round 4 there or maybe 5. Yeah, so
then, especially if Dobbins is out for the season. If you know that for a fact, then
yeah for sure. And this is draft season.
Travis Etienne was ruled out for the season as well. There's a chance. I think they said he could come back late in the season, but I think they changed it to say he's out for the season.
Yeah, they ruled him out early. There was a chance I think it was the date was August 31st, and the fact that they ruled him out before that date, as a chance to have that glimmer of hope to come back in, they would have done that after the 31st. So the fact they did it before says, we're going to keep our investment safe and we're going to rule him out for the year and be ready for next training camp. So James Robinson, fire him up again.
So obviously Robinson moves up. What round are you guys looking at Robinson potentially to get drafted? How early would you say?
I'd say like 4th round.
I like him more than Gus Edwards. Ready. I'll say that. I'll like him more than Gus Edwards.
Yeah, for sure.
He's a better running back, but in that
complete
offense,
running back. And a complete running back
in that offense, how much production, like as far as like scoring touchdowns, do you think you can have? Like I was watching the preseason game of the Jaguars, like they're not likely to get into the end zone a lot.
Yeah, but they sucked last year too.
Yeah, no, they sucked last year. Nothing's changed. He still was a great running back.
Yeah, but the thing is, I feel like this year they have Urban Meyer, which is he wants to pass a little more. They have the 1st overall pick, Trevor Lawrence. So this is a team that wants to put the ball in his hands, and this is a completely different offense, in my opinion, than what it was last year. Their offensive coordinator is known to do like formations, 2 tight end sets, and Urban Meyer is more like spread offense. So they're trying to fit 2 different offenses like in one offense. I don't think this offense is going to be very good. I actually think personally Urban Meyer doesn't be his last season and only season in the NFL.
Wow, that's a huge take.
Look at it. What college coaches straight to the NFL have you seen that's like productive besides Jimmy Johnson, who went from Miami to the Cowboys? Like, other ones?
Matt Rule. Matt Rule's still there, as number 1. But Chip Kelly had early success. That good?
Like what? Steve Spurrier, Chip Kelly,
had early success. Then he flamed out really quick after that. But Nick Saban was productive for a little bit, but you also forget that Pete Carroll was in the NFL.
With Nick Saban.
Pete Carroll was in the NFL and then went back to dominate SC, came back, and he was in the Super Bowl. So Pete Carroll had.
But he was previously an NFL coach, then went to college.
Yeah, but he went to college, dominated, and then he came back to the NFL and still,
John Harbaugh
went to the Super Bowl. Well, Jim was. He went from NFL to back to college. I think. I don't think he was.
He did, but he did really good in the NFL when he was in the NFL.
Well, he was, yeah, but I think he started in the NFL more than he went.
Yeah, that's what I think so too.
Or was a similar approach to like Pete Carroll, like where he was NFL, college, then NFL again. Yeah, I don't know, but John Harbaugh. I mean, he's the Ravens coach. I don't know his coaching background prior to the Ravens though, so I can't really verify that. But no, you have a valid point, Brian. Like, college, it's not a huge track. It's almost like the rookie tight end types thing. It's not like something expected, but I don't expect to double tight end sets, out of the Urban Meyer's offense after being an Ohio State Buckeye fan. I don't see them running that. I think, guys like Laviska Shenault being that H-back in that offense and I think he is the fantasy target now outside of Etienne, because I think Etienne was going to be that Curtis Samuel type for that offense when Curtis Samuel was actually at Ohio State, because he was that H-back type, fit that mold really, really well. But now I think Laviska Shenault is really going to be that guy that gets the ball in so many different ways for that offense. And James Robinson is going to be that ground and pound guy, and he has proven the pass catching ability. So.
Actually, I don't think he's going to be a lead back, but I don't think he's going to get as many touches as everyone expects. Like Carlos Hyde is
going to have a role for sure, because he knows what Carlos Hyde can do. He was played under him, so 100%. That's why I grabbed Carlos Hyde and all these pretty much a number of these ends of these best ball drafts that I've been in, even before the Travis Etienne news. Urban Meyer knows this kid, so.
But the thing is, he's not a kid.
He's grown now. He's grown now. He's like,
but that's 30. The thing. I think it's one of those things. Like he just comes to the NFL and he's like, "Oh, Tim Tebow, you played for me like 15 years ago. Why don't you join the team?" I think
he cut him though, so don't worry.
But I think Carlos Hyde, in like if Urban Meyer wasn't the coach of the Jaguars, like he wouldn't be on a roster. I feel like, or he'll be fighting for a roster spot.
He'd be right. He'll be fighting for a roster because he's been bouncing around the league his whole career, so. He's valuable enough to have a spot.
One word answers. Robinson, what round's the earliest you look at him? Yosef, what round?
4th.
Joey?
Earliest 4, yeah.
Earliest 4th? All right. And then there was one more trade done with the Rams with Sony Michel. Michel. I just feel weird that his last name's Michelle.
I always call him Michael.
Michael. That, I'm not comfortable calling another guy Michelle, but whatever. So he got traded to the Rams. So some people are saying he's actually going to be the early down back, and then Gerald Henderson's going to be like third down running back or whatever. How do you guys see that playing out?
Go ahead, Yosef.
Yeah, the way I look at it is that he'll probably just take the Malcolm Brown role from last year, and Henderson's going to be the main guy for now. The only thing about Henderson is that he keeps getting hurt, so Michelle can hop in at any time and take those carries. So for me, Henderson is still like 5th, 6th rounder, and then Sony Michel is someone you can take a shot on in like the 9th, 10th
round. We have to remember that when Todd Gurley went down a couple years ago, McVay found CJ Anderson off the street and made him into a fantasy superstar. So he can make Sony Michel relevant in a bizarre way, because none of us really expected CJ Anderson to do much, and he killed the league. If you picked him up that year, I think 3 years ago, you were very happy with the production. So you have to rule that into the range of outcomes. But with that being said, I expect Sony Michel to be the short yardage back, I would say, more than like early down versus passing down type stuff. I expect Gerald Henderson to still have a major role until he gets hurt. That's just been his MO and track record. But I would say he could vulture the goal line work or short yardage work from Henderson. So if you're in a half PPR league, which I am in, and I asked you guys for your input on the trade that I was just with for David Montgomery and Henderson being involved in the other part of the deal, I ended up giving away Henderson because I felt more comfortable with David Montgomery. So with the Michelle trade. So there's my piece with that. But Darrell Henderson has a big role.
One word answer. What's the earliest you're looking at Sony Michel? What round?
Double digits 9. For me. Yeah, double digits. 10.
How about Darrell Henderson now?
For me,
5,
6 or
5 or 6. Yeah.
Yeah, that's basically what he's going. What's crazy? I was actually I knew about this, but I totally forgot. Who's a receiver on the Rams that's on the roster but no one ever talks about?
Van Jefferson?
Deshaun Jackson.
Oh,
I was about to say, he didn't let me answer.
Well, yeah, but like I was looking at the roster, I was like, damn, how come no one ever brings him up?
He's there, huh? He's gonna get injured like week 1.
Yeah, he's gonna pull like a hamstring or some shit. Like we already know.
I actually drafted him last year, feeling like he'll be a guy people are sleeping on. He's gonna come up next, in the season because he's the number 1 receiver. And he got hurt the first week.
He's going to have one game where he catches 2 long passes and everyone just tries to pick him off like waivers. And then he's not doing shit for the rest of the season.
He's going to do, 2 for 110 and 2 touchdowns. And like people are going to go crazy.
Yeah, he's going to do some shit like that. So today's episode is going to be the draft strategy and tips to have you guys win your league. And then we're each going to have our own tips that we're going to provide. But I think there's one tip that we all agree on. And that's listen to the Fantasy Football Mafia. Because we know what the hell we're talking about.
Like and subscribe.
That's the number 1 tip that we're all talking about.
Oh, yeah. We have 2 new family members.
Yeah, like and subscribe, man. Like and subscribe.
That's right, man. If you guys want to win your league, you subscribe. But so let's go with Joseph. You go ahead and give your first tip of how to win your league.
Well, the first tip I would give, and which is in regards to the draft, is to make sure this year especially, I wouldn't say in the previous years, but this year especially, that you want to get one of those top 3 tight ends. We're talking Kelsey, Waller, and Kittle. I feel like if you at least secure one of these guys, you already have, this is like more in their value. Don't go reaching for someone like in the top 5 or anything like that.
Then I'll talk to you guys offline about the editing thing, but go ahead.
Yeah, no worries. But I feel like you need to secure one of those top 3 tight ends, and then you already have an advantage over the 8 other people in your league. And from there, you can build your team. This is what I did last year. I got Kittle in the second. He only played like half the season, but the games he played, my team was on another level because I started from a core tight end and then built from there. So as long as you can get one of those top 3 and then secure like maybe one of the top running backs in the first round, I feel like you already have an advantage. And this year especially, those 3 are just on a different tier than the others.
No, rumor has it that you're going to get Kelsey with your first pick in our draft, and I think that basically cemented it. So
no, I said get good value. So 5th, I'm still deciding, but for the 5th pick, it's pretty high for me to get a tight end. Like after that,
I don't know. Joey has the first pick in our draft. Joseph has the 5th, not the 11th.
Where should we pick? Who should we pick, guys?
Put it in the comments.
Joey, what's your tip to the people to win their league?
I'm sorry, I was looking up some tight end stuff, so to build off of that that last tip. But my first tip is actually going to be for our auction folks, as I'm in an auction league, or actually a couple auction leagues. So I just want to be a little versatile with these tips. So with auction leagues, if you're in an auction, I recommend building out about 3 to 5 different teams, so to speak, with about 85% of your budget. And like a standard auction league is around $200 budget. So if you're in that 160 to 170 range with building out these teams, it gives you that wiggle room in case you need to go above a certain dollar amount with each of these players. That way you have, if you really want a player, you want to go $3 extra than what you budgeted for, you have that wiggle room, right? That's why I say about 80 to 85% with these 3 to 5 different teams, and you have option A, B, and C. Or if you want to go to 5, that's fine. And then also with those lists, just make one bargain bin list of $1 to $3 type players. So with every approach that you have, you always have those $1 to $3 type players to fill out the back end of your roster. And I highly recommend going stars and scrubs. I personally feel the winning percentage is higher there. Not saying that if you want to go a more balanced approach, it's not going to work. It is. People have won with that, but just my success has been built in stars and scrubs, going after those high end players and spending your budget that you have. So building out some options to 85% of your budget and going into the draft really prepared.
Okay. My tip is let me look this shit in the camera. Is know your league mates. Your league mates. Know which guy is a super fan of a certain team and use that to your advantage. If I know a guy's
especially the Raider fans.
whatever, the Raiders,
down for anything.
Niners. We got a guy in our league who's a huge Niner fan, and I'm going to draft a Niner potentially to, use that as trade bait. We got a lot of Raider fans in our league, so I might use that to my advantage. Know who is a lot of guys, they've been in drafts for a couple seasons with certain guys. Know their trade history. Know guys who are not the best at trading. Joey is a guy who I never trade with because he will offer you his bench player for your best player.
Oh, that's not true. Shut the hell up. That's not true.
Certain guys I know always get raped in trades, so I kind of offer them a little bit more often than other guys.
Andrew. Oh, God.
So just know your league mates, know who's their favorite team, know who's the smart ones, know who are the stupid ones. Use that to your advantage.
The real reason why Brian doesn't trade with me is because I don't fall for his bullshit. So
okay, so on the next episode, we're gonna look at our previous trade offers from from Joey and I, and then we're gonna break down his trade offers.
Hey,
there's no context. There's no context with those because there's like, oh, you offered me bullshit, so I'm gonna offer you a bullshit one in return. So there's like a lot of context within those. So anyway,
honestly, Brian, your trades are just bullshit, man.
Thank you. There's 2-1 there, man.
Oh man, my trades are me and Joseph actually. I think every single year we actually did a trade together.
Yeah, it's like a thing. We have to do
collusion, veto. Let's save that. We'll save that for another episode. I still want to do that veto episode.
Yeah, we gotta bring that down.
Coming up.
Anyway, guys, well, maybe we'll just do that around trade deadline time. Maybe that's probably the best time to do it. We can marinate on it a little more. I don't know. Anyway, that's for another time.
Actually, you know what? Since we're on the offer or the subject of trades, for the people who are listening, whatever, TikTok, YouTube, or whatever, let us know your most bullshit trade offer or a trade acceptance.
Oh, yeah, man.
Know in the past.
That would be good for comments, too.
Yeah. So
everybody's had a situation like that. So, yeah, let's talk about it.
Let us know when you rape someone in a trade. Let us know when someone raped you. Hopefully, you raped someone and you didn't get raped. Like,
Jesus Christ, that's the word rape. They're like, just don't get
raped. Not the rapey. Hey, just trade wise. We have
to put that in the disclaimer there.
Disclaimer. Yeah.
Fantasy football trade or relevance only.
There's gonna be like a whole bunch of comments like I was a rapey, I was a raper.
We're gonna get banned, man.
Yeah,
we will get banned.
A bunch of rapists in our comments.
I got raped the whole season by like 3 guys and shit like that.
Well, we should put this on YouTube, man.
Hey, really quick, is there anyone in our league that you guys raped? I know.
I'm not going to answer this.
I know Kyle raped Joseph.
I've raped Andrew a couple times.
Can you stop with the raping?
Kyle raped Joseph with no condom on with the AJ Brown for fucking Josh Jacobs.
This is not good. The fact that we're talking about it like this. Come on now. Come on, let's bag it. Let's bag it.
All right, and then Joseph, let us know what your next tip is.
Oh man, I was checking now. Yeah, my next tip would be just be organized. Have your pen and paper ready, or your spreadsheets, or laptop, phone, whatever.
Yo, man, there's like a queue though. You can just put the players like what row you want. You don't need like a pen and a paper.
No, because you can have all the players there. You can just scratch off.
If you have your, I like the element of having your list rather than having to sift through like a pre-made list from a certain site. Because then I was like, where are my guys at?
No, but like we do ESPN, you can actually do it in queue, and every time a player gets drafted, that person gets out of the queue.
I get it. You can't put all the players in there. Like you can have all your players on a spreadsheet and just scratch out each player that's been taken, and then
Joseph's tip is have a paper and pen. All right, man.
There you go. Yeah. Or a phone. But it's like as long as you have all the picks there.
He's given tips that have helped him, and he's won.
Yeah, this is why I won the league. Do you remember? I won the league last year. I don't know if anyone remembers.
Yeah, but that time. All right, go ahead.
Anyway,
this is what you do. You stay really organized, and you star your favorite players. It keeps everything nice and neat for you. That way, you're ready once the bell's at 30 seconds and someone just got the player you were waiting for. Now you can skip through. Hey, this guy's still here.
And you know what, Brian? I'll say this. Another part of that is like, let's say, because a lot of these episodes, you have some kind of distraction going on, and it's on recording here. So what if you get up from your computer for something and you didn't set your cue? but you have a list that was already written out. You're like, oh shit, 30 seconds on the clock. I have a list to go down instead of trying to find something. So there is other validity to that where life happens. You might have to step away and you have a list ready.
Some people still write out there.
When you're not on the clock, do you actually walk away a little bit, or do you sit there and watch each guy get picked? Sometimes I'll walk away because I get really angry watching people like pick my players, so I can't like watch it. So I sometimes got to like walk away a little bit, take a breather.
You are very emotional.
I will walk away if like my draft plan has gone to complete shit and I'm just like, okay, now I'm just picking for best value, whatever.
Yeah.
And like, cause like there's no plan anymore. So it's like, why do I need to stay around and do this? I'll just figure it out as it goes.
Yeah.
So that'll be my only time I'd walk away and reset myself. But other than that, I have a plan going in and I'm usually sticking to it and I'm staying at the computer.
I'm usually watching like every single pick. I'm just tuned in and I'm, switching through my players, getting ready because I always want to be ready right when the time hits. And then later on, once it's getting slower, I'll take a break and wander.
Since we're actually kind of on that topic, we actually have our draft next week. What's your perfect draft food?
Draft routine?
Is there draft food? Do you like to just stay focused and not have food? You guys kind of throw like a little bit of a party, have drinks, your favorite food, have a good time?
I want to do a live draft one of these days with some of these leagues, man. I mean, if we've been in them for a few years now, I think there's got to be a live draft element. So I've been kind of waiting for that, but obviously the last 2 years, COVID's been getting in the way of that. So anyway, I'm just throwing that out there to this league.
That would be dope.
Be dope. Host it at Brian's house, then we can have his preferred draft food. I mean, I don't know. I just, as long as I have something to drink and maybe some hard liquor, who knows?
I think
come on, this is a family. No.
Oh man, come on.
Did Andrew make like a bad pick one time and he was like blaming like he was drunk or some shit like that?
He's always doing that.
He's always fucking
blaming on the
And again, that brings me to my first tip. Know your league mates. Andrew's a drunk. If you send him a trade offer, he might be drunk during that trade. You know what I mean?
It's a certain time you have to send it though. Like
now,
at night.
Now I know if he accepts a trade, I'll be like, Andrew, were you drinking? And the response.
Bro, people don't know Andrew, but as far as they know, like he's fucking a drunk. He's an alcoholic. He's
God
fucking
damn, dude. Jesus. He's not that, everyone, okay? Not that.
He's not that. Like 6 times of the week, he's not that.
He loves donuts and beer, and he's not a cop. Like, whatever.
Jesus Christ.
All right, let's go to Joey, your next tip.
My next tip is pretty simple. Do not take a defense or a kicker before the last 2 rounds of the draft. Case in point, let me finish because
Joey, what about if you want to get the best kicker?
I don't care.
Okay.
Well,
the best kicker to the 10th. I think there was a stat like this was years ago. This is the reason why I came onto this tip. It was like I read an article about the first ranked kicker and how he finished to like the 20th ranked kicker. And there was literally 1.5 points per week difference. That's not going to usually make or break. That's not going to make or break you wins or losses. Usually, I mean, we've all seen like tragic losses by 0.2, 0.5, whatever. I mean, so I guess, and that would dispute this argument, but that doesn't happen often as far as into a person that many times in a season. It might happen to you once in a 16, 17 week season, right? Obviously, in fantasy football, we don't play all 17 weeks or now 18. Playoffs usually end early, or if you're not even in the playoffs, it ends even earlier. So you're not playing the whole time. So that's the reason why I don't do that. Defense-wise, I'll say this. The number 1 ranked defenses consensusly across the industry usually don't finish number 1. Like hardly ever. I think it's like I think it's like top 5, whatever. True. Okay, but it's not going to be the top. So it's like you reaching for the top defense that's ranked. You're wasting a spot. So if you find validity in saying like at least I'm going to get a top 5 defense. Now I haven't done the data or haven't seen articles to where like what the per week difference is in that. But to me, that just like knowing that is not a reason for me to reach for a defense. I will say this. Actually, I'm not going to say this because our draft's coming up. I will save it for later. So I will save that one for later. But yeah, those are that's my tip. Defense, kicker, last 2 rounds of the draft.
All right, well, Joey's holding back with his fucking tips, I guess.
Wow.
Strategy.
Really
that's another tip.
Know.
Well, like strategy for these guys. I can't give away all my secrets, guys.
All right, for sure.
All right, so my tip is own your draft spot. So if you're like me, who's in the 11th spot, people always say go draft a running back. If I'm in the 11th spot, what am I going to get? Like 9th best running back, 10th best running back, or would you rather go ahead and get the best tight end, the second best tight end, best wide receiver, the second best?
But Brian, aren't there lots of good tight ends in this draft? Why should I reach for one?
You're not reaching. You're getting an advantage. Let me ask you this. Never mind. I can't come up with a good analogy, but would you rather have like the 10th best running back on the board, or would you rather have the best wide receiver on the board?
I think for sure. If you're already at a disadvantage from the other guys, so you want to get the best at least one of the positions, and you can go wide receiver or even tight end there. Coming back to my point.
If you're going to be the best at one position, they're not going to be the best at one position because they already got you in another. Then you got to even it out somehow, right? So whether that be tight end or wide receiver, so be it. But definitely,
you know what? Actually, I kind of come up with a good analogy. If you're going to like a club, and then these guys pulled up grab the hottest girl, are you just
Brian's
grab
history
what's left, or are you going to go to a different club and try and grab the hottest girl from that club?
Let me ask you this, Brian, since this seems like real life stuff. What did you do in that situation?
Well, going to the club.
Yeah, were you left with what's left?
I go to church. Club? I meet good girls. I don't meet girls at clubs. You know, that's my analogy.
His girl's sitting right there.
Girls at clubs. Anyway. But no, own your draft spot. A lot of people, I'm not with it, where they're like, just you got to get a running back. You got to get a running back.
Yeah.
No.
I had a buddy who reached out to me not too long ago saying like, "Hey Joey, what should I do in my draft? I want to go running back, wide receiver." And I just said it really depends on the draft, man.
Yeah. Where you're sitting, for example, your last year you got Kelsey and Hill, and was it last year or the year before?
No, it was last year because because I had Lamar as the quarterback. Then I made a trade for Mahomes to stack both of those guys. It was a huge.
Where'd you pick again? Was it like 10th?
I know it was back in the first round because I was able to get them both. Yeah.
Yeah. So you owned it. You got the best tight end. You got the best wide receiver almost. So and it really helped you. Or you're gonna get the 7th best running back, the 8th best running back, whoever it was.
Yeah, I wasn't prepared to do that.
Don't fall into the saying where it's you got to get a running back in the first round. I think it's total bullshit. Get the best somewhere else and then come back and get the running backs.
What's a running back you're looking at late that you can get and put at the running back one if you do that route of getting 2 straight receivers?
That's between me, myself, and I. So I'm not letting you know what round I'm even looking at running backs. I did tell you though, the first 4 rounds I went wide receivers, and that ended up being my favorite drafts. I'll tell you that. So if I'm looking at running backs, it'd be potentially very, very late.
I have a feeling that since he was asking about where we're looking, Gus Edwards and Darrell Henderson, he's looking at that 4, 5, 6 range. So be prepared for that, Joseph. I already got. He was trying to get.
I know for a fact, Joey. He was looking at J.K. Dobbins, but now he's injured. I know he's really gonna get Terry McLaurin if he's available because he's from Ohio State. Joey's picking up anyone from Ohio State from the Raiders.
Tracer
Raiders.
Yeah. Joseph, I know you're getting Kelsey.
Ohio State guys on the Raiders, man.
Either players from Ohio State or the Raiders.
I don't get a lot of Raiders because everybody takes them in this league, so I'm not really worried about that. I'm not much of a homer. I want to win. That's my number one is winning. So if I'm reaching for that, and I'm more self-aware of that, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to get the best player that I need for my team.
Yeah, I feel like Joey's way less aggressive on Raiders players than other guys. Like Andrew, you can get him on
number one. It's going to be Waller, Jacobs, Waller, one of the two. The first couple rounds. That's it. He's going to set up his team that way. So we know that going in.
Yeah, we know Andrew's getting Eckler and Waller for sure.
And you know what? It kind of brings up my points earlier. If you guys are doing mock drafts, if you guys are trying to figure out where your opponents, who you're going to draft, if you know a guy is a certain fan of a certain team, you can be okay, well, I kind of guess in the first round he's going to go this way, or in the second round he's going to lean toward this guy. So that's what brings me. I already know Yosef's going to be drafting Kelsey 5th overall. Joey's an easy one. He's a first overall pick, so he's going with McCaffrey. And I kind of get the leftovers.
Yeah, you're going to get Devontae Adams. You're going to get Devontae Adams, and you'll probably end up getting Ridley or Diggs.
Yeah, it's one of them. I'm getting basically whoever's left, but I mean, so
I don't know. Yeah. This could be all a diversion. You're gonna go 2 running backs. I mean, who knows with you?
I don't know. We'll see. But any other tips or strategies you have for people?
There's a lot. I mean, but we're gonna keep this short. Or if it hasn't been short, I hope. I see the timer going here. So
yeah, we're running on time. We got about 5 minutes or so.
But I mean, if you guys have any more any questions, always feel free to hit us up. We're looking forward to the season, and best of luck to you guys.
And if you just subscribe, leave a comment and let us know who you are.
Yeah,
we'll shout you out.
We'll
shout you out.
Past year or not?
For sure.
All right, so we'll see you guys next time, and thank you for following us.
Laters on the